Guys, it's Maymay, and tonight we're going to work on this guy. Do you remember him? This is the one that I did the embossing on the wood frame, and I just love how this turned out. If you didn't see me do this, I'll link the video below so you can see how to do this clear embossing on the wood frames. This is one of those frames from Hobby Lobby. Can you see the... So you'll know what they are when you're looking for them. And this one is made of... I don't know. It does not say. However, yes it does, MDF. And the thing about it is, it works really well because it's that kind of darker MDF instead of the lighter one. And when you get to the frames, you'll know what I'm talking about. I think you really need to use the darker one to get this effect instead of the kind of, what's it called, balsa wood. I don't think that would work the same. But we can try it and see. We'll try it another time. Tonight I want to decorate this one. And this reminds me of leather. Have you ever seen those Western purses that have that embossed leather? And it might even be debossed. I don't know. I haven't seen one in a long time. But this just really reminds me of that look and feel. And I don't know where I saw this, but I was inspired by something that I saw where they did flowers on top of that leather look. So here's what I'm going to do. I have these pieces of scrapbook paper. I'm not going to use them. I'm going to use something different. But I'm going to let these be my inspiration. Do you see these little flowers here at the bottom? And when I flip it over, there's flowers on this other side as well. I'm going to let these inspire me to do something I think will be super fun. Now, I love the way these look, and I also love the shape of these flowers. But what I really love on this page is all the polka dots and all the dash lines, and I'm going to let that help to inspire me too. I'm going to give you a secret about me. I'm not really good at just painting or drawing from my head, but if you showed me something, I can copy it. Tell me if you're that way in the comments. If I see something, I can pretty much copy it, but I'm not good at coming up with stuff in my head, so I always like to find some kind of inspiration. So I'm not going to be doing exactly this, but this kind of helps me with my layout as long as I have something to look at. So do that. If you find something around your house that you really like and you think you could copy it, not exactly, but use it to help you with your layout and stuff like that. So we're going to get started. I'm going to actually hang these in front of me here where I can see them on the wall and use them for my inspiration. So, now I have them where I can see them. Now, what I'm going to be using tonight is this slick paint. Remember this from the 80s? They called and said, "Get busy, girl." That's what they said. And it's so funny because I was looking online and I saw people using a lot of puffy paint for stuff. And I was like, that might be cute to do puffy paint on here. But then I thought, I don't have any puffy paint and I don't like to buy stuff new, but I have a whole collection of these because I bought these for that enamel look on cards. And I thought, here's what we're going to do. This has some dimension to it, so it won't be perfectly puffy, but I'm going to use this. Now, I have a pencil. If you need to, you can sketch out your flower design. It will be so faint on here that no one will notice it. I'm going to bring you guys in closer so you can watch what I'm doing. Okay, so this is the frame portion here, and I brought you in really close on this side. I'm going to turn this a little bit and kind of get you in perspective. Okay, I want kind of a large flower in this area, so I'm just going to kind of faintly do a circle for me to be able to see, and it does not have to be a perfect circle. Can you kind of see what I'm doing there? And then I think I'm going to put one in this area, just kind of faintly so I can see it, and then something here, and then maybe I might do some of those ferns, some of the look of the ferns on there. See, I'm looking at it to see how it looks. So I'm just giving myself some faint lines to go on. And what I'm going to do is use my puffy paint, and I'm actually going to draw. Now, I have not done this before, so you guys are just going to come along with me. I think it'll be fun. And let's just get started. So the first thing I want to do, now you can do this. If you're really bad with flowers, and I'm pretty bad, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of section off this with kind of some lines like a pie shape. So I can kind of put my petals in. And I can always come back and erase this, okay? But this will help me to get my petals a little more correct. Another thing, let's have some scrap paper handy so you can make sure there's no bubbles. I'm just going to lay a piece of paper up here so I can test my line. And I'm going to go fairly thin, and I'll show you why in a few minutes, but we're just going to play. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I'm just going to start here in the middle and go to town. And I'm just loosely using those flowers as inspiration. And I'm going to turn it as I go and try to keep it in frame for you guys to see. I'm kind of doing hearts. So I'm just going to the edge and going to my pie shaping. Like so. The cool thing about flowers is they're from nature, and things in nature are never perfect. So I love that. Now this looks a little sloppy, doesn't it? And I'm not going to stress about it too much because now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do next to make this look even better. So, while it is still wet, I'm going to take a straight pen, and you can use whatever you've got, but I'm going to take this straight pen, and I'm going to start in one of these tops here, touching the slick paint and pulling it down. And I'm kind of doing it so I get nice thin strokes coming down from the top of that paint. It will almost start to look like stitching, almost like you've embroidered it, and that's what I'm looking for. So clean your pen off every now and then so you don't get too much gunky paint on it. You may have to go back over the same spot 3 or 4 times to get it to really smear down. Now you can do this with the tip or the lid of the paint. The problem for me is it gets a little fatter than I want it to. So it's not quite as fine as I want it to be if I do that. So now I'm going to come over here and I'm just continuing to flick down. Just going over and over and over it. I love this look. Makes a huge difference, and it really makes it look more like a flower than it did before. We have got bad weather setting up for us tonight. I'm in Alabama, and a lot of you guys have already heard about Arkansas, what they've been through, which is horrible. We definitely need to be praying for them, but we've got it coming this way too, so I thought I would get started as early as I could before we lost power tonight. And hopefully I'll get this one posted before the weather gets too bad. I don't know what it is with me lately, but I have been on this white and craft kick lately. I just think white and craft look so good together, and I think that's why I wanted to do this, was to just see how this would look as a focal point on this craft colored picture frame. Now you want to be sure to try to get the skinny strokes. That one went a little fat. You see how wide that one went? That's okay, but I still want to get in there and pull some of those skinny strokes out. Now, you might have to clean your tip off periodically, but you can just use like a baby wipe or something. Or a piece of scratch paper is what I just did. You call it scratch or scrap paper. I catch myself calling it both. But in my head, it's scrap paper. Now in the center, I'm going to do this little swirly, just kind of to play with the paint. I'm just going to swirl around to make a center. And I'm not making really those skinny strokes. I'm just playing with the paint to kind of make the center of a flower till I get happy with it. So there's one flower. Check that out. I'm going to bring it up closer for you guys. See how that looks? It looks like we did a lot of intricate painting, but we didn't. Let's do one up here. This one's going to be smaller, and so I'm just going to kind of play around with my paint tip and just kind of do something like this. Just remember to leave yourself plenty of paint at the edges so that you can go back and do your scratching. And you see how that one looks? It's not perfect. Not perfect. Well, let's just play with it and see what we get. So back to our straight pin here. And I'm going to start pulling down. It makes a huge difference. It just goes from almost kitty art to really pretty, intricate looking. My paint is getting too thick there. I think kind of less is more, I'm learning. Because where it's thicker on the edges, it doesn't look quite as good. I don't get quite the skinny little strokes that I like. So I'll remember that in my next flower we do. Okay, so there's another one. Isn't that really neat? I just think it looks kind of cool. Okay, let's put another one here. And let's see. Maybe we need to do something in a different shape. Let me look at my inspiration here. Okay, one flower that is done is really cute and it's done like this. Let's start it over here. See if you can see me really well. Okay, it's a circle. Just going to make a good size circle out of this. And then it just has these little fluffy petals coming off of it. Like so. And I'm going to fill these all the way in. Then this last one. Okay. Now I don't know if scratching this will do any good, but I want to try something. I'm going to try scratching between the petals, kind of pulling down. This is almost like playing with frosting. So I'm going to start out and pull in. And it does put a little bit of definition in for the petals. Not a whole lot. Probably can't see that on camera, but I can kind of see it here. And I'm just pulling it through and cleaning the needle at the same time. Okay. It's cute enough. Let's go up here and do something. Are you getting dizzy yet? Okay, let's see. I'm going to look at this and see if I need to see a different kind. Oh, here's something I like. I'm going to do it this way though. Okay, so this flower has kind of a three dealy like this, almost like a tulip at the top. Like that. And then it has 3 points. And one comes here, one goes there, and one goes out. And then there's some other stuff we'll do in a minute. Let's do our streaking on this and see how this looks, or our striping. This reminds me of Easter. Very much like icing, isn't it? Okay, so there's that one. I think I'm going to bring these lines down a little bit further even, because I think I have room. Okay, and now let's do something in this area here. I'm going to look at flowers on my inspiration piece and see what we got. And there's a paisley on here. I don't know if I want to take on paisley. that scares me a bit. Let's try doing something like this one with a little more defined shape. So I'm going to do it like this. And turn it where you guys can see it. There we go. So I'm going to do some thin little hearts and create flowers out of them. Okay, let's streak it up. And turn it where your hand's comfortable, but be careful not to get in the stuff you've already done. Okay, so there is our flowers. I'm going to back it out for this portion because I want you guys to be able to see all of this. Okay, so now you're seeing the majority of it. Now, I'm going to do the stems. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't think. I'm going to turn it like this and do these stems. Clean this tip off. I'm just using my fingers and wiping it on a rag. I hope that's, you know, do we all do that? I hope so. And I'm going to just freehand some stems. Just kind of streak that up. Let's come out here. And the thing is to be flowy. See how I'm just being real flowy? And then, looking at my inspiration pieces, I'm just going to kind of do what it's got done. And one of the things it's got is these leaves that are very simple. And they do like that. There's a longer one, then a shorter one, and then a shorter one. See that? So I'm going to do that in several places. Longer, shorter, shorter. Just using that inspiration. It's so organic. That's the cool thing. And I think the pattern in the background helps too because it's very organic. And then I'm going to come up here and just kind of do some more stems kind of leading behind so these aren't just hanging in midair. Something like that. Okay. And now I'm noticing on my inspiration piece there's polka dots and there's stitch lines. I'm going to do some of that too. And what I'm going to do is actually use these pieces to help me. Do you see how I have this piece that's stamped and it swirls out? I'm going to use that to help me with some dots. So I got a good curve because I followed that curve. Isn't that cool? Cheat when you can, right? Let's see if we can find another one that does that. I'm sure we can. Let's come down here and do it on this one. Oh, it spit. I'm going to try to clean that off with my finger. Oh, awesome. It went right away. So now let's do it. This is therapeutic and so easy. So there's that one. I really like this edge up here. I'm going to turn this so I can get to it. You still with me? Okay. I'm going to come out of the flower and follow this edge. Love that. Now I think I want to do one going in the other direction, and I think I like this one right here, so I'm going to do this one. And I'm just following the stamp, the design from the stamp. Super fun. I keep turning it because I want to see what's going on. So if you need to turn it, just keep turning it. It's your piece of art. You can do whatever you want to, right? Okay, let me look at my inspiration and see. There's some kind of bigger polka dots, but I'm not in love with those, so I think I'm going to do more of the swirly look. I really like how these look, so I'm just going to add a few more, maybe here. Nope, I'm going to go right here. Just a couple of dots here. And then something down here. I just really like how that looks. But for now, I want to come down here and work on these stems a little bit. I think they're a little bit skinny. I want them to be a little thicker for grounding. So I'm just going to come down here and just thicken them up. and blend them into each other. Just kind of creating like a ball at the end of them to make them make more sense. Now then, I'm going to make some tiny flowers with dots, sort of like this one, but just something over here to give us some more weight in this area. So I'm going to go dot, like that. Maybe one here. This really reminds me of working with frosting. And maybe just a little one here. Just little stems. Alright, turn it around. Now I love how that looks on there. I just love the white against that craft. What do you think? Let me know below. Now, I had already decided earlier I wanted to go around this, but now I know what I want to do. I want to do polka dots all the way around here. So this may take a minute. I'll get started and let you watch me, and then I'll just kind of cut away from it. But I'm just going to do polka dots all the way around and try to keep them the same size as much as I can. And I'm really doing this like frosting. I'm touching it and lifting up so it'll just kind of be a filigree edge. So you see that? I'm just going to do that all the way around. Now you see that? I love how that really sets that off. I'm tempted to come over here and do some polka dots. What do you think? I don't know. The good news is I can wipe it off. Let's just see. I love these swirls and I want to set them off. So I'm going to just see what happens if I do some dots around these swirls. I'm going to go to this one right here. And imagine the colors you could do, because if you painted this frame, you could do so many different colors. Okay, I'm not going to overdo it. So just a little bit. So now I have some on both sides. And there it is. Now at this point you could come back and put little sequins in. If you had pearls that you want to embed in those, you could do that. If you wanted to put glitter on it, anything. But I'm going to stop because I want it to be simple and crisp and clean. And I just love the way this turned out. Let me know what you guys think. It's super fun. And I'm telling you, it is addictive once you get started. You don't want to stop. But easy and simple, and look, it looks like a little kid did it, but then when you do the little streaking, that's when it gets really, really neat. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you guys on Wednesday, where I think I'm going to be reviewing that what's it called? The Thermomorph product that was sent to me by the company, and they wanted me to review it, and I think I'm going to just play with it and let you guys see what it looks like. So I don't know. Let me know if that's something you're interested in seeing. And if you don't really care for the review, I can do it on a different day so it doesn't mess up our schedule. So anyway, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.